This is a very disturbing report, but I have no choice but to do it. Ivana Trump is haunting Donald Trump from her grave. And what I mean by that is Ghislaine Maxwell, during her interview, said something interesting where she mentioned her relationship with Ivana. It was very quick in the 300-page transcript, but I latched onto it because I've been studying for years the relationship between Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey Epstein. The thing that you all need to know is that Ghislaine Maxwell and Ivana were like best of friends. They knew each other very, very well. They shared similar staff. They hung out all the time. And some of Epstein's sex trafficking victims, like Mary Farmer and Annie Farmer, are on record as saying that Epstein basically said that during the divorce, Epstein got Donald and Ivana got Ghislaine. So remember, Epstein and Ghislaine were dating for years and years and years. They broke up sometime around 2004, 2005. So this begs a lot of questions about what happened to Ivana. We all know that Ivana died under rather mysterious circumstances in 2022. She allegedly fell down steps at her Manhattan apartment complex. She seemed to be able to walk up and down pretty good before that happened. Then she was immediately buried in the back lot of Bedminster, Donald Trump's golf course, where Trump would be entitled to have lots of tax breaks by turning Bedminster into a cemetery by having people buried there. It's just odd as well and ghoulish that you would bury your first wife after you're married 3 times, that you would have the say to bury him in the back lot of your golf course. We've also reported, Daily Mail was the first to break it though, of course, that Donald Trump let that burial plot go into disarray and lots of grass and shrubs grew over the area where Ivana was buried. It looked really gross, really disrespectful, and we never heard any statements from Ivanka or Trump's kids about just the treatment of their mother. So I want to go through this step by step, as always, the Midas Touch way, bringing you the receipts to show you how Ivana is haunting Donald Trump from the grave. And this is what happens, Donald, when you try to hide your dark past connections with Jeffrey Epstein. So first, let's just get into the interview transcript with Ghislaine Maxwell. I reviewed all 300 pages, but buried on page 104 and 105 is the following. When Ghislaine Maxwell was asked about her connections with Donald Trump, she goes, "So my father liked him very much, and he was loved. Really liked his wife as well because we were both Czechoslovakian. And as far as I'm concerned, President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me. And I just want to say that I find I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now. And I like him, and I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him." False. I mean, it should be noted that you sex trafficked underage girls from Mar-a-Lago. You were like best friends with Donald Trump. You were best friends with Ivana. You were convicted of sex trafficking after a jury heard all of the stories about you. You could have testified at your criminal sex trafficking case. You did not. And the Department of Justice at the time made a very strong point to inform the judge, and the judge agreed that you are a lifelong liar. Now, I want to share with you, let's listen to right now what one of the sex trafficking victims said that Jeffrey Epstein told her and what she observed about the relationship between Ivana Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell. And then I'm going to bring out more and more receipts. So this is what Marie Farmer, a sex trafficking victim of Epstein, had to say. Let's roll this clip right now. Let's play it.
Ivana Trump was like her best friend.
And with
Ivana.
Yeah, with Ivana, then, I described that, she'd be there.
That was creepy. So at the time, Ivana had she was doing QVC, selling jewelry, right? Online. I mean, on TV. She was like a QVC queen. Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was always hanging out with Epstein, and Ivana was always hanging out with Ghislaine.
Right.
And Ivana she would say, we're going to go pick up Ivana, or Ivana's going to come. And we'd ride in the car with her. And I remember one occasion where Ghislaine's like, I have to get out right now. And she went and got a number from a child, and I saw in a uniform.
Yeah. And
everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody who surrounded them knew exactly what they were doing.
And but how often? Did you go for rides often with her and Ivana? Or,
yes.
And would she pick up girls all the time?
Yes. She didn't bring them in the car. She would get their phone numbers.
Right.
But she would drive by schools.
Right. So
as they got out.
So would she?
Yeah.
And what's Ivana doing at this point? What are
sitting in the car. And I'll never forget, because they went one day. I was really weirded out by what had happened. I was really weirded out. So I'm sorry, my phone's beeping in. Just give it a second. But anyway, I've got to go in a second. But I just wanted to tell you, I was weirded out when they were driving around with this. So Ghislaine, to shut me up, gave me one of those cheap bracelets Ivana was selling on QVC, and said, Ivana wants you to have this. And I threw it in the garbage.
Yeah, that was Maria Farmer right there. Here you can now just hear it in Ghislaine Maxwell's own words as she lies during her proffer session. She's a lifelong liar with the Department of Justice number 2, Trump's former criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche. Play this clip.
What did you observe as far as President Trump and his relationship with you or Mr. Epstein?
Well, I just want to say, for my relationship with President Trump, relationship's a big word, but I just want to say that I met him, or I believe I may have, because of my father in the 90s. And as far as I'm concerned, President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me. And I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now. And I like him. And I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him.
I mean, it's hard to imagine laying it on any thicker if you're talking about the person who has the power to pardon you. She wants a pardon, and the only person who can give it is Trump. So maybe that's why she's saying how extraordinary his achievement is and how she's always liked him.
And folks, it should also be noted as well, a number of things, but Ghislaine Maxwell said that she was never involved in any sex trafficking, that Ghislaine Maxwell said that Epstein wasn't involved in anything bad, that all of the girls were always of age, and the only reason that Epstein hung around young women, she said, not even underage girls, just young women, was because he liked to share music with them, and it kept him young to hear what young women thought about, like the new bands and stuff, and that's literally what she said. So that she did nothing wrong, Epstein did nothing wrong, just so we know who we're dealing with here as well. But then Ghislaine also said the following, and now I'm going to show you what Ivana says in Ivana's own words through her deposition. But Ghislaine Maxwell says, I've never seen Donald Trump do anything inappropriate. Here, play this clip.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Okay, well, let's hear from Ivana's own words. This is from a book that was called The Lost Tycoon. Came out in 1993. This is what Ivana said happened to her by Donald Trump, and Ivana and Ghislaine were best friends, so certainly Ghislaine had heard this story from Ivana. Ivana Trump has been relaxing in the master bedroom of the Trump Tower triplex, thinking about the trip she will be going on to Tahiti. The trip will not just be for a vacation. It has to do with the Donald's business. Lauren Ettes, the widow of the late Trump Gaming Division executive Mark Ettes, will be going with her. Ivana has been hoping the trip will help them get over the tragedy of the helicopter crash. Suddenly, according to Ivana, the Donald storms into the room. He's looking very angry and he's cursing out loud. Your fucking doctor has ruined ruin me, he screams at Ivana. The Donald flings Ivana down onto the bed, then he pins back her arms and grabs her by the hair. The part of her head he is grabbing corresponds to the spot on his head where the scalp reduction operation had been. The Donald starts ripping out Ivana's hair by the handful as if he's trying to make her feel the same kind of pain that he's feeling. Ivana starts crying and screaming. The entire bed is being covered with strands of her golden locks, but the Donald is not finished. He rips off her clothes and unzips his pants, then he jams his penis inside her for the first time in more than 16 months. Ivana is terrified. This is not lovemaking. This is not romantic sex. It is a violent assault. She later describes what Donald is doing to her in no uncertain terms. According to the versions, she repeats to some of her closest confidants, quote, he raped me, she says. When the Donald finally pulls out, Ivana jumps up from the bed, then she runs upstairs to her mother's room. She locks the door and stays there crying for the rest of the night. The next morning, Ivana musters up the courage to return to the master bedroom. The Donald is there waiting for her. He leaves no doubt that he knows exactly what he did to her the night before. As she looks in horror at the ripped out hair scattered all over the bed, he glares at her and asks with a menacing casualness, does it hurt? Then on April 7, 1993, when the first printing of Lost Tycoon was awaiting shipment, the publisher, who had met with Donald Trump and his lawyers on March 3rd, received the following communication from Donald Trump's lawyers. The statement by Ivana does not contradict or invalidate any information contained in this book, and it is included here only to give full expression to differing points of views on an important event. Statement from Ivana Trump. During a deposition given by me in connection with my matrimonial case, I stated that my husband had raped me. I wished to say that on one occasion during 1989, Mr. Trump and I had marital relations in which he behaved very differently toward me than he had during our marriage. As a woman, I felt violated, as the love and tenderness which he normally exhibited toward me was absent. I referred to this as a rape, but I do not want my words to be interpreted in a literal or criminal sense. Any contrary conclusion would be an incorrect and most unfortunate interpretation of my statement, which I do not want to be interpreted in a speculative fashion, and I do not want the press to misconstrue. This is her full statement that she wants to be repeated. You can go in the book and read it for yourself as well right there. Let me play this for you as well. This was around that time. Here was Ivana sitting with Donald Trump. Donald Trump on marriage. Ivana does exactly what I tell her to do. Here, play this clip.
Do you all argue?
Yes, but not greatly. I'll tell you truthfully, we don't have tremendous fights. We should have world record-setting fights, but we really don't. We get along very well, and there's not a lot of disagreement because ultimately Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
See, wait a minute.
Male chauvinist.
Right, men? Is that right? Huh?
This is what Ivana had to say after her divorce with Donald. Play this clip.
But she didn't just lose her husband. In the same year, Ivana lost the other most important man in her life when her father died suddenly of a heart attack.
I was a little bit numb, and maybe that helped me also when my father passed away, because I just said, it just cannot get any worse. It just has to get better.
You say in the book you thought the divorce perhaps contributed to your father's heart condition.
I just know that my father was devastated, and my father was humiliated because I was his pride and joy in his life. I know that he took it very hard. It's just unfortunate it did happen at a time when I did need him most.
How did you compensate for that, Ivana?
You don't.
As for her ex, Donald's new life now includes Marla, baby Tiffany, and reflections on why it is not a good idea to put your wife to work for you. When I interviewed him last year, Donald said he regretted having had Ivana run his Atlantic City casinos and the Plaza Hotel.
I think that was the single greatest cause of what happened to my marriage with Ivana.
If I look at it now, I think it was a terrible idea.
Ivana would get angry at somebody over the telephone all of a sudden who was at the casino. And she'd start shouting. And I'd say, I don't want my wife shouting at somebody like that.
Well, if you go into work and if you have 4,500 employees and the vice presidents, you cannot be a little pussycat.
There was a great softness to Ivana, and she still has that softness. But during this period of time, she became an executive, not a wife.
suddenly the whole romance and whole evening goes, because you know, you're talking business and you're talking what has to be done and repaired and this, rather than being romantic with each other.
And here is, shortly before she died, here's what Ivana had to say about her life at that time. Play this clip.
Do you miss the old life?
The old life?
Life with Donald?
I don't, no. Nothing really changed. I have a beautiful home here. I have a spectacular apartment in Miami. I have a 300-year-old fisherman houses in harbor of the Saint-Tropez. What more can I have?
Now, here is from the Palm Beach Diaries from the Daily Beast, the family that worked for Jeffrey Epstein and Trump. Jeffrey Epstein and Trump's first ex-wife moved in the same glittering Palm Beach social circles and hired members of the same family as employees. Epstein and the Trumps did not just share the same rarefied air in Palm Beach society. The multimillionaire sex offender and at least one member of the Trump clan hired employees from the same family too. While Janice Bonsiak served as Epstein's Palm Beach house manager, his wife and stepdaughter snagged jobs with another famous face in town. Trump's former wife, Ivana, the Daily Beast has learned, as Epstein's butler for more than a decade, Bonsiak testified that he lived in a staff house attached to the financier's waterfront property, answered the door for girls who gave Epstein massages, and kept wads of cash on hand to hand them on their way out. His spouse, Radhika Ophelia Bonsiak, is also linked to Epstein's El Brillo Way mansion through addresses on her driver's license and previous voter registration records. As recently as October 2015, a traffic citation for Ophelia listed Epstein's estate as her place of residence. Ophelia found long-term employment working for Ivana Trump until the socialite sold her Palm Beach home in 2014. That year, Ophelia's 25-year-old daughter, a law student at Columbia University, landed a summer job with Ivana too. An online resume for the daughter, which was found on the website, Sidex.net, includes a job with Miss Ivana Trump from May 2014 to July 2014. Gary Lyman, a lawyer for Ivana, told the Daily Beast that the student, who is from Romania, was tasked with helping Ivana pack her things for the move. The connection was the mom. Her mom worked for Ivana, Lyman said, adding that Ophelia's husband was the guy who worked for Epstein. It's unclear if Epstein played a role in Ophelia's employment with the Trumps. Ivana declined to answer further questions. Left with Lyman and Ophelia, and Bonsiak declined to comment. Ivana Trump's name was registered in Epstein's little black book, which also contains numbers for Trump and Trump's daughter Ivanka, now First Lady Melania, and Trump's younger brother Robert and his ex-wife Blaine. I've known Jeffrey for 15 years. Terrific guy, Trump told New York in 2002. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life, Donald Trump said at the time. Folks, Ghislaine said there's no black book at all, even though there was a black book. But okay, here's what Ghislaine said. No black book. Here, play this clip.
During the time that you were with Mr. Epstein, and even in the 2000s when you were around less frequently, you never observed or you never saw any sort of list or black book or a list of individuals who linked to certain masseuses or
Absolutely
anything
no.
like that?
Absolutely no. There is no list.
Well, there you have it, folks. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. I just wanted to come with receipts. Those are the receipts. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.